What's up everyone, in this video we're going to be taking a look and deep dive into the new gameplay from Windblown, created by Motion Twin, who also created the popular game Dead Cells. So they have released a 15-minute gameplay video of how the game will look and show its gameplay mechanics in this alpha footage. So this is where we are going to be looking at and breaking it down. Before we go into it though, I muted the sound of the gameplay because of the copyright issues. They were using a music of a freelance artist that I don't know I can use. And because the game is not officially out yet or in early access, I'm not taking the risk of copyright strikes. So if you do want to see the gameplay with sound, you can go to the original video of the gameplay. I put the link down in the description, and if you pass the like button and hit it, you could also support this video. But let's get right into it. So the video starts with the playable character standing up in the first dungeon, which is called the Golem Gardens, and it has a beautiful atmosphere with hovering platforms and nature between it all. Moving forward, you will see that they will pick up an item called the Pulsar, which I can almost say with a guarantee that this item will make it so you are able to dash in the game, which is very important because you will be needing it to traverse through the dungeon most of the time, and it looks really cool. Then they will pick up the first weapon. So the video didn't really show how your starting weapon will be dictated, because they do show what a new run looks like later on, but they already have the fish knife equipped at the start. It almost like it is cut away, so I can't say for sure what it means. But it also could be that you will gain one starting weapon completely random from the loot pool that you have unlocked, which is mostly the case in games like this, or maybe even options to change it straight out what you want to start with. Now they show some combat with the starting weapons, so as you can see, just as in Dead Cells, they will have unique movesets and also a gimmick that a weapon has to deal a critical strike for additional damage, and in this case with the fish knife they are using, it deals a crit on the final hit of the combo. Further, you can use the dash between to juke enemies and dodge their attacks. The combat button layout is similar to Dead Cells, where you have 2 slots for weapons and 2 slots for equipment, which are called trinkets in this game, that are used outside of the weapon combos. You will also come across friendly memories to gain gifts that work as passive bonuses to strengthen your abilities. While they're traversing through the dungeon, they come across 2 doors that lead to different paths and a specific reward. In this case, they went for the weapon door, and if you look closely, you can see small eyes on the door and with a big eye on the other door. This will probably be an indication of what enemy types you will be facing behind that door, so you have to choose if you're ready for a big fight to gain rewards you want, or take the other path because it is safer to take the rewards you don't necessarily want or need, but it is worth taking to not die in your current run. You see that in this room they have to fight off lesser enemies. They did get something dropped which is unknown, so there will be hidden stuff to collect, but it will only be revealed later in the game probably, or it's not even ready yet because the game is still in alpha. After they cleared the room, they will gain the reward that was displayed on the door, which in this case was a choice of 2 trinkets or a stack of currency. And now you can see on the bottom left that they have a new ability to use. Now let's talk a bit about the currency. You can see on the bottom right you have the golden shell currency. This is the currency you can use within the run itself, and it is lost upon death. Later in the video they will come across this shop here where you can refill your health flash and also gain more abilities to use within the run, and you will be needing this currency to buy the stuff here. To get the currency you can break the objects in the dungeon by dashing through them. It's pretty easy, and you also get them if you beat enemies. You can also see a pink gear currency. So far you can gain them by defeating enemies. This would be probably similar to Cells and Dead Cells, because after they show what happens after you die, you will be teleported to a hub area where you can interact with NPCs before starting new runs. In this section they are interacting with an NPC that shows the pink gear currency near the upgrade tab, and it looks similar to the collector tab in Dead Cells. And this tab, you can see that they got the health upgrade for the flask, and also further down is listed the weapon training. So this is going to be your upgrades to make yourself stronger in the run. So this is where the rogue-like mechanics come into play. Further, there are more NPCs in the area, but they didn't show what they do yet. They did go on and start a new run. So they entered the Golem Gardens again. This confirms that it is their first dungeon, and this time they reach it further. Along the way, they found an encrypted trinket memory dropped from an enemy. This will probably work similar to the blueprints in Dead Cells, where if you defeat enemies and then they have a chance to drop a blueprint, and with this blueprint you could then unlock new gear with the needed currency to unlock. So with the memories in Windblown, you need to find them in runs from enemies, and in the hub area you can unlock them with the currency most likely. After you can see, they will pick up a second weapon, and this will also have a unique moveset with a gimmick for a critical strike, where you need to backstab enemies to make it procs in this case. They did come across a door in which you needed to sacrifice health to gain an extra reward, which I assume was a ranged weapon with a curse damage debuff, but they didn't go for it. Later, they come across an enemy that does a slow debuff on the playable character, so debuffs will also be a thing in the game. After they beat it, it drops a booster, and they will have 3 choices to increase their HP, damage, and shell loot. Could be that there are more bonuses within these boosts, and you get a random choice of 3 each time. Then they will discover a chest, and it will give them a Momonite Dust, a new currency which is still a mystery. This game will have a co-op feature as well, up to 3 players in total I believe, and there will be emotes you can spam like they show here, so you can interact with each other, which is pretty fun. So they did come across an area where there are multiple different platforms and they needed to face 2 big enemies, so they had to switch between the platforms pretty quickly to avoid attacks, where the enemies were following them as well with attacking them on the platform. And for me, this was like the top gameplay they showed. It was really intense, quick thinking moment, should be a lot of fun playing it for ourselves when it does come out later in this year in early access. After this, it looked like they encountered a boss, or at least a really strong enemy type with a really wide range of attacks, and it hit like a truck. They almost died here with the minefield, the boss did, and also just attacking through the minefield as well, so you have to really navigate through it and also dodge the attacks. It's pretty intense stuff, right? They did beat it and dropped a weapon memory, so like I said before, these are used for unlocking new weapons in the hub area most likely. They did get a new gift, so in this case it was a passive ability, and when they moved on from this boss area you can regain your health in the hotspots. This is probably going to be always there after each boss battle to regain your health, because after this hotspot you get access to the shop to stock up on health flask or new abilities with the shell currency, and then enter the new dungeon. This new dungeon is going to be a factory by the looks of it, and it is building like robots and they're getting like moved around in the background, which looks really fun. And the enemies you face here will also have the robot-like aesthetic. The first enemy they face here already looks like a boss, but it's just a strong enemy I think, because he comes back multiple times. And they do get a new combat mechanic after this fight called the Alter Attack, where you can do unique attacks by switching weapon types during combo, which deals a bigger punch to take the enemies down, and it also needed to break the door within the run. Later they come across the door, which is locked with the ward they skipped in the first run, right? It had like the face and the arrow up, and here you can see it actually is an optional path for a ward, so just a room where you have to fight the enemies then and you get the reward. So they did use the Alter Attack here a lot, and you can also see the bleed debuff proxing on the enemies for more DPS. And yeah, this means more build variety options, right? After they have cleared this room, they get the booster reward, making themselves even stronger, and by the looks of it, you do get different choices of this booster reward. Later, they do find a weapon from level 3, and it will have a bonus affix on it on that level, which has an extra attack procs on dealing damage with the weapon, right? And can also be different, I suppose. With that, they also opened a door after this, where you needed to sacrifice the health to get the trinket behind it. And this trinket has also a bonus affix where you do bonus damage against targets with burn. So burn is also in the game, and probably maybe freeze or other stuff, you know. So more build variety, and yeah, you can use it to get more DPS. Although after this, they did get higher gear now, but because of the health sacrifices, they did like health. And while the next enemy, well, he almost looked like a boss, and he hit him like a truck, and he died straight away. So, and that basically marked the end of the gameplay footage of the trailer. So this was the deep dive into the gameplay. Personally, I think the game is going to be a lot of fun and you can play it with friends. Something Dead Cells lacked, which could also help to lower the difficulty accessibility because Dead Cells is a hard game to get into. And maybe this makes it easier to pick it up for people. And of course, you can also play it solo if you want. There's no harm in there, but with friends, it could be even more fun. So if you haven't already checked out the original gameplay video, it's worth watching and with sound. Also, if you want to support the game, you could wishlist the game on Steam and also like their videos. I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, just want to share my support to them. Also, if you want to support me, you can like the video as well. And if you want more new content from Windblown when it comes out on early access later this year, I will be posting videos, so you could subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss anything. And also, I will start streaming the first gameplay live on Twitch, so you can follow me there as well. Links will be down the description. I hope to see you there, but that was it for me. I thank you for watching and I see you in the next one.